Hi, my name is Roberto. Welcome to my humble channel. If you're here to learn how to speak Spanish, you're at the right place. Let's go right into the video. Welcome back. Now, if you're here to learn to speak Spanish, I am going to be very thorough. I'm going to explain not only how to learn the phrases, because it's good to learn phrases, at least one or two phrases a day, and build up an inventory of things to say. But the most important part of it is that if you're watching these videos, in order to learn how to speak Spanish, you should start speaking it right away. And in my previous videos, I've explained not only how babies learn how to speak their first language, but I've also explained the process that we're going to go through. We're trying to learn what are called utterances. That's how people speak. That's how I'm speaking to you right now. We don't really speak in phrases. We don't really speak in sentences. We speak in utterances. Sometimes an utterance is half a sentence or half a phrase or almost a whole phrase. It's very simple to learn the phrase. The only thing is if you don't say them correctly, you won't understand when somebody else is using them to talk to you. Because the way that we have evolved to 200,000 years of speaking languages, our brain will learn to speak as many languages as we ask it to if we put in the correct information in the right way. So we're going to try to put these phrases in here the correct way. That is, to the ear and the mouth. And try not to do it with the eyes. What do I mean by that is that it's better to learn to speak a new language by doing it with the ear and the mouth, not by reading it. Because if you read it, you're liable to go and use the sounds in your first language. Not only when we're trying to learn these phrases, not only do we have to learn to say them, but we have to learn to say them correctly so that we can input the correct sounds into our brain so that when we hear somebody use them, we can understand them right away, we can hear them, and not only that, but at the same time we're tuning our brain to hear in that language. In this case, it's Spanish. So we're trying to learn to speak it correctly so that we can continue learning easily when other people are carrying on conversations with us. Even if they're short conversations, you learn a lot by speaking and by listening, but speaking correctly. I know some of you really don't think that you can do it, but you can. I'm telling you, you learn your first language, and according to my video, I showed you exactly at what time period you were learning what. Go look at that video, and if you have any questions on that. But there's a certain process, certain stages that the brain is already equipped to handle that. And you already did it because obviously you speak your first language correctly. You're really good at it. How did you do that? So the brain already has done it. Your brain knows how to learn a new language. It already did it really well. All you have to do if you want to learn a new language is input the same information that you learned as a baby so that you can learn through the stages that the baby goes through. Because at the age of three or 4 years old, a baby has all the tools. And that's what I want to give you. I want to give you the tools. Actually, you already have the tools. I just want to wake them up because they're in your head. These tools to learn to speak are in your head already. They're just a little rusty. You haven't used them a while since you were a baby, but they're still there. It's like riding a bicycle. You never forget how to do it once you learn how to do it. So you already learned how to do it. You just have to get on the bicycle a little bit and try it, wake up that skill, and you'll be able to do it easily because it's so easy a baby can do it. Come on, all right? So we're gonna go through these 5 phrases. I want the first phrase to be, since we have a lot of people that go to countries that speak Spanish, at least you can ask how much it is if you're buying a taco or you're buying a meal or you're buying some gifts for somebody back in your home country. So here's a phrase that you would use. Now, I want you to try to learn it by ear first. And I'm gonna put the phrase on the board here, as you will, right here where my hand is. I'll write it down, but I'm gonna write it down after you learn how to hear it first and then learn how to say it. So these phrases are all 2 syllables. So you wanna know how to buy, or you wanna buy something and you wanna know how much it is. So your brain would tell your mouth to say something that means, how much is it? That's really the way language works. Our brain has an emotion, a feeling, tells our mouth what to say, and our mouth says it. I'm doing it right now as I'm speaking to you, a little bit slowly, because I'm getting old, okay? And I want to apologize for that because, I just got into the internet thing and I'm still working on how to do these videos, the light and the editing and the voice or the audio. So I apologize for that, but I'm really trying. Here's our first phrase. You want to say, how much is this? Or how much is it? So you would say, cuánto, that's the first word, cuesta. Cuánto cuesta. So I want you to learn that as a whole phrase. Cuánto cuesta. Never mind what the words mean, because that's when you start slowing down your brain. When a baby learns to say stuff, he doesn't really know what it means. He's going to find out what it means later after he learns how to say it. So first you have to learn how to say it, and then you learn what it means. I'm trying to give you a head start by telling you what it means. What you're trying to say is, you want to know how much this product is. You don't really want to learn how to say, how much is it? In English, that's 4 words. How much is it? 4 words. You don't want to memorize words. That's not the way the brain is going to learn to speak. A baby doesn't learn to memorize. He learns to become familiar with words, and that's what I'm trying to get you to do. That's why I want you to hear them first and say them. So you want to know how much it is, all you have to say is cuánto cuesta. Cuánto cuesta. Cuánto cuesta. Say it a little bit faster. Cuánto cuesta. Cuánto cuesta. Cuánto cuesta. Cuánto cuesta. That's all you got to say. That means, how much is it? Cuánto cuesta. There's like 2 words. Put them together, you link them together, throw out any extra sound that might be in there that doesn't let you complete the utterance correctly. So you want to learn this correctly because you're training your ear to hear it correctly, so when somebody else is speaking to you, you can continue learning instead of just sitting down watching videos and stuff or trying to read off of a book, trying to pronounce it and then pronounce it wrong. And then you say it, but when people say it back to you or ask you the same thing or say the same thing, you don't understand. So that's not what you have to try to do to learn to speak a new language. To learn to speak a new language, first of all, you have to start speaking it. And second of all, you have to start speaking it correctly so that you can continue learning to speak it as you're carrying on conversations with other people. And that's how our brain is structured. Our brain is organized in a certain way that we feed it the correct information, and it does everything it's supposed to do, because even a baby can do it. Okay? All right, so, ¿cuánto cuesta? You hear that? ¿Cuánto? Let me slow it down one more time. ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? Na, 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 na. Listen to that cadence. That's the secret. ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? Once you learn to say it in the correct cadence, then you can say it with any different emotion that you want to, like a question type. ¿Cuánto cuesta? Na, 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 na. You've got the cadence, and then boom, you can make it into a question. ¿Cuánto cuesta? So you learn it, ¿cuánto cuesta? First you learn how to say it correctly. ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? And then you put either a question on it or whatever emotion you want to put in it. You could say, ¿cuánto cuesta? How much is it? Right? And then you could say, in English, you could say it the second time, ¿cuánto cuesta? It's like you're astonished at the price. So you can do all of that stuff with speaking a new language, just like you can do it with your first language. There's no reason why you can't. All you have to do is learn it correctly, learn to say it correctly. Okay, that's number one. And like I said, we're going to do 5 of them. Hopefully I can do this really quick. Except for this first one, because I wanted to make sure that you understood what it is you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to try to hear it so that you can say it correctly, so that next time you hear it, you'll be able to identify it. So you're becoming familiar. That's what you have to do to learn to speak a new language. You have to become familiar. You don't have to memorize anything, because it's so hard to memorize. That's why people give up. But we have evolved to be able to do this. 200,000 years. There's at least 7,000 different languages. Every baby learns to speak a language. Everybody speaks. So the way that our brain is organized has to be the correct way. Because if it wasn't organized correctly to learn languages, then gosh, there'd be a whole bunch of people that can't speak. They just didn't get it. But it's not the way it works out. The brain is already evolved to be organized, to be able to do it. Just feed it the right information. And that's what we're trying to do. Feed it through the ear. The brain has to know what it sounds like, and then say it. And as we say it, a lot of things are happening. Our whole body is feeling the vibrations of the sounds that are coming out. And that's really, really important. The body learns to hear, not only with the ears, but with the body, how the sounds should sound like. So anybody that says the same sound, you recognize them. Just like if anybody were to say your name, you would recognize it. It doesn't matter if the guy is from a different language or not, a different country or whatever. If he says your name correctly, you will understand it. That's how the brain is organized. So when you learn a phrase, you put it in your closet, and that's what you have up here. It's not really a brain, it's a closet. That's really what it is, the whole brain. It's a big closet. I want you to hang those clothes. So today you're buying your first tuxedo for a wedding. You're gonna go to your daughter's wedding, say. So you're buying the best tuxedo that you can get. And you're gonna go and hang it in your closet. So ¿cuánto cuesta is your first tuxedo? You know it's gonna be up there, that tuxedo. You can almost see how beautiful it is. So now let's go to number 2. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna whatever. The phrase has to do with I'm gonna. Just like we say in English, I'm gonna, really, there is no actual word, gonna. But that's the way people talk. If you listen closely, that's what they're saying when they're speaking regular conversation. Nobody says, I am going to eat. Nobody talks like that. unless they're angry and they're really trying to tell somebody, I am going to eat right now. Like, leave me alone, right? But usually we say, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna whatever. How do you say I'm gonna in Spanish? Right? Again, 2 syllables. Voy a, voy, voy a. Voy a is I'm gonna. Voy a comer, I'm gonna eat. Or put a question in your tone of voice. Voy a comer? Voy a comer? It goes up at the end, right? Questions go up at the end in many languages. Voy a comer? Am I gonna eat? I'm gonna eat. Am I gonna eat? I'm gonna eat. Same thing. So this has to do about eating. So that's the second phrase that I want to teach you really quick, because I'm sure you can remember that one, because it's about eating. Voy a casa. Voy a. Not difficult to remember, not difficult to become familiar with, but hear it, and then you say it too. Voy a casa. I'm going home. Voy a comer. I'm going to eat. Voy a. Don't worry about what boy is. It's a verb. It's a pronoun. It's a noun. Don't worry about any of the grammar. Babies, when they're growing up, they are not interested in grammar, believe me. That comes much later when you go to school. This is not really school. Baby doesn't learn at school to speak. He learns how to get better at speaking, but he learns all of this in the first 3.5 years. Learning how to speak like a regular person that speaks Spanish, and you can do that. You can learn to do that in French or in German or in Swahili or any language, really. If you just follow the same steps. Now here goes the third one. In English we say, I wanna eat. I wanna eat. How do you say wanna in Spanish? Good. Quiero. There you go. Quiero. Quiero. Put it together, it sounds like this. Quiero. So anytime you want something, so your brain is telling you, hey, I want that, or I want this, all you have to do is say quiero, and then put the word that you want. Put the noun in there, if you will. So, quiero un taco. I want a taco. Quiero una soda. I want a soda. Quiero pan. I want bread. Quiero. Now that's the third one. Quiero. Quiero means wanna. I wanna. Quiero. Number 4. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. 2 very good things to learn to say. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. It's tengo. So as you see, I'm putting these sounds together in pairs. Ten and then go. That's the way you're waking up your brain to learn how to say things in pairs that mean something. They're called utterances. I'm teaching you utterances. So we've already hung up our tuxedo, which was the number 1, which is cuánto cuesta, that's your tuxedo. And then we hung up the next one, which was what? Gonna, which was boya. So you've got 2 pieces of clothing and little nice hangers in your closet and everything. But remember, you can buy a lot of stuff and put in your closet, but if you don't use them, you're going to forget you even have them in your closet. Same thing with language. So we're starting. That's why I want you to learn right now 1 phrase a day and get very, very familiar with it, so that you'll know it's in your closet. It's hanging. You can almost see it in your closet that it's hanging. So you'll be able to say all 5 of these at the end of the week. All the 5 of these phrases. So you're hungry, and that's what you want to say. Tengo hambre. Or you're thirsty. Tengo sed. Tengo sed. And the last one, give me. Give me. Give me something, right? Give me a chair, give me some water, give me. How do you say gimme in Spanish? Dame. That's how you say it. Dame. Again, da-me. So you put them all both together and you're saying dame. Dame is give me. Dame un lápiz. Give me a pencil. Dame un beso. Give me a kiss. Dame, dame, dame. Oh, so there you go, all 5 of them. Thank you very much for listening to my video. And let me know if you have any questions. Please subscribe and put a like button if you want. You don't have to like me. You just have to learn, that's all. Hey, all right, and I'll see you on the next video. You're learning to speak in utterances so that you will recognize those utterances, become familiar with those utterances, and you can start understanding when people are actually talking to you because you've already said it, heard it many, many times. Thank you. See you next time.